Hello, everybody. This is Andy Heller, president of Regular Riches, and I'm checking in today to give you guys a great tip on investing, and one that for those of you who are experienced or maybe considering to invest in lease purchase, I'm going to rock your world with this tip. So, the way we market our properties, everybody, we market our properties for sale or lease option. And absolutely, we try to flip some properties and get the quick cash. We can take that cash and turn it into more properties. But if we can't flip a property, we're not going to just rent it. We found we make so much more money with less hassle if we market the properties under what was called a lease option or a lease purchase. You even hear somebody use terminology rent to own. We don't like that. It sounds too much like a couch. All right. So we use lease purchase or lease option. Now, what it is, everybody, you're renting, but you're giving the family the option to buy the property. It's technically just a rental until they exercise that option. The option gives them a right to buy at a price structure that you'll agree to, or a price point that you'll agree to, and you typically will give them anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 years. Okay, now I'm going to talk about one part of our terms that separates us from a typical lease option. It may surprise you at first, and you may think, well, it doesn't make sense, Andy. But it does make sense. I'll come back and tell you why afterwards. So in our country, there are many people who are what we call credit poor, but they're not cash poor. They got some money, but they don't have credit or good credit. When you're looking to buy properties, you need basically three things. You need some cash for a down payment. You need stable employment, which a mortgage company will look at. And you need credit. The credit will show the mortgage company that you're likely to pay your bills, which will include that mortgage. So you typically have to have a minimum amount of credit to get a good mortgage. So your typical lease purchaser, now there's many differences, but your typical lease purchaser has a bit of cash, maybe even enough for a down payment, but they absolutely don't have the credit that they need to buy. And the reason why the term that you're offering is attractive, be it 2 years or 3 years, they look at that and say, I can get my credit fixed in that amount of time, and then I can take this option to buy, I can act on the option and be a homeowner. That's what a family who's interested in a lease purchase will typically consider. Now, the option money for many investors who approach a lease purchase, they look at the option money as a primary way that they make money. What do I mean by that? Well, in other words, the investor really doesn't intend to sell the property. Many of them even don't give fair terms, which intentionally make it difficult for these families to buy the property. And their intent from the start is to keep that option money, push that family out after a year or so, and find another family with a large option payment that is typically non-refundable if they don't buy. Now, I can talk to you guys for an hour on why that is ethically the wrong thing to do. But I'll just give you the cliff notes on it. And that is, we've been investing for over 3 decades. We've made tons of money in real estate. I've used the profits I made in real estate to allow me to start companies that I've run successfully, all because of my decision years ago to be a real estate investor. And there are many investment strategies that are out there where the investor's profit is tied to the misfortune of a seller or a renter. We fundamentally do not believe in that. Okay? In fact, in our seminars, we teach you actually make more money when you're fair. But I want to focus on one key point, and that is the option money. So let me explain this point with a sample deal. So we have a property out there, and investor A says, all right, I'm going to offer this for lease purchase, $20,000 non-refundable option money, and no security deposit, because I don't need a security deposit. I have a option money that makes the family vested. And then there's us. We take that same property, and our option fee might be $5,000 or $6,000, but we do require a security deposit, and maybe even we ask for last month's rent or a second month security. So we get an additional, call it $8,000 from them, but it is written up as security. So again, our two examples, $20,000 non-refundable, call it $5,000 non-refundable and $8,000 security. So investor A gets $20,000 cash money out of the family. Investor B, we get only $13,000. Now on the surface, you look at this and say, well, wait, you're getting $7,000 less. And that is correct. But it's very short-sighted thinking. So let me give you the rationale right now on why we ask for a lower down payment. First is that many of these families don't buy. So here is family A, and they're in investor A's home, and they've given that investor $20,000. 2 years later, they get a transfer to another city, and they really need that money. They had planned to buy it. The investor says, sorry, that money is non-refundable. Well, when a family is moving out, when they're moving out of your home, no matter what, your goal as an investor is to get that property back as fast as possible in as good condition as possible. So investor A, do you think that family is going to be a little bit pissed off? Darn right they are. And there's no incentive at all for that family to give the property back in good condition. In fact, they're going to be so upset about the $20,000 that they're not getting back that investor could get a time bomb of a property back with a rehab. Could be a heck of a lot more money than what they're keeping. Let's compare that to our approach. So we get $13,000, but it's written up as $5,000 non-refundable and $8,000 security. So I get the phone call from the family, we're moving, we got a job transfer. Oh, I'm so sorry. We love having you in the property. I said, yeah, we wish we could buy it. And at this point right now, again, we know that they're leaving. My goal as an investor is very simple: to get that property back in as fast as possible, in as good condition as possible. I got 8,000 reasons for that family to give me back that property in good condition. So what's my approach going to be? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I'm so sorry that you guys are transferring out. And my guess is you could use that security deposit. Oh, if we really can, we need it to where we're going. I tell you what, I know you said that you'd like to stay to the end of the month. That should work out fine. Give me that property back in good condition, all right, where we don't have this big rehab project on our hands. And I will go to the investors, and I will recommend that you get your entire security deposit back. Oh my God, would you do that for me? Yeah, we'll do that for you. So we get that property back, and guess what? Carpet's clean, everything's out. They even repainted the walls. I'll write that $8,000 check faster than they can say, what the heck, thank you. Versus the first short-sighted investor, the first example, who might get that property back with a $30,000, $40,000 time bomb because the family leaving is so upset. These investors who have high option payments and don't intend to sell the property in the first place, number one, that is ethically the wrong thing to do. Never invest where your goal is to essentially screw somebody. Number two, you are going to cost yourself more money on the back end because you will get properties back in much better condition because the families will have absolutely no incentive. You'll have no leverage to incentivize the families to give you back the properties in good condition. Okay. And here's the third point. All right. When you're offering properties for sale or lease purchase, we are massive believers in casting a wide net. What do I mean by that? I want as many prospective tenants answering my ads. Why? If I have 30 calls a week answering my ads versus 10, I got more great families to pick from. If you ask for so much money up front, it's going to reduce the number of calls you get and reduce the number of applicants for your properties. And very often, take it from this older guy who's been doing this for over 30 years, very often, the most stable tenant, the more stable potential applicant, is an applicant who has a bit less cash than others. When you're renting property and doing it under a lease purchase, you're looking for long-term stability, a stable family unit. They're more likely to stay for 4 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, and that's where you make the real money. So the other part of this is the investors that are asking for so much cash money up front and in a non-refundable form that it will actually have the effect of lowering the number of applicants calling on the ad and eventually coming into that home and filling out applications. Cast a wider net. So when we ask for less option money, what I would encourage you to look at is the whole big picture, what I've talked about here. Again, keep in mind, we get enough money from these applicants that they are vested in the properties, but the monies are just written up differently. Instead of this massive, large, non-refundable chunk, a smaller non-refundable amount, and then also the security deposit so that we have something to give these families afterwards as an incentive for them to give us the properties back in good condition when they're eventually vacating. I hope you've enjoyed this tip. Be sure to like us and tune back in for more tips in the weeks and months ahead. Thank you.